The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Alive, still connected, still with you.
A first for the region as Arawak X makes history with a near $2 million crowdfunding initiative that brings a well-known restaurant brand to the Bahamas. Good evening, everyone. I'm Shanique Miller. Welcome to the show. Arawak X introduced the idea of crowdfunding to the Bahamas a few months ago. The premise was to afford everyday Bahamians access and opportunity to own a piece of the proverbial economic pie. Well, before now, that was not available, only to a select few. Well, about 2 months later, that mission is realized, with nearly 1,000 Bahamians having shares in what will soon be the newest restaurant in the Bahamas, Red Lobster. DRC Rahming Jr. is Chief Technology Officer at Arawak X. Now, DRC, first of all, welcome to the show. It's wonderful. I'm smiling I'm so proud of this moment. First of all, congratulations on this achievement.
And thank you and congratulations on seeing you here. This is the first time I've been on your show.
I know, right? Because you've been here several times before to talk about this and share the idea. DRC, this idea, this wonderful idea that you've been talking about and sharing with the country is now a reality. It certainly must feel amazing to have Bahamians understand that truly they can become empowered just through this way.
You know, and I don't like to talk about myself and, founding this thing, but I will say it for a long time, in building this, it was, those thoughts go through your head of whether or not you're a crazy person or whether or not people are actually ready for this.
Yeah, is the idea going to resonate?
Exactly. Yeah. And if you listen to some people, they say, no, Bahamians are not ready to invest. They're not ready to own things. And, the Arawak X and the Red Lobster brand prove that people are ready for this, and people want this.
Just 2 months later, you officially launched in August of this year. Just 2 months later, near 1,000 Bahamians will soon be able to touch, feel, look at, walk around, whatever they want to do, their investment. Eat, well, of course, that's important. That's certainly important. I know, so, right? Eat at something that they own, that they have a stake in.
Exactly, and that's the form of capitalism is an ownership economy. It's called property owning democracy. And that's what we want to see here. We want people to not just have a stake as a consumer in the society, but to actually own the things that go on, own the economics of the society itself. And so we're just a platform for it. Red Lobster is one of many, many companies that are coming that hopefully will be successful.
We're going to talk about that.
Yes, we will.
Absolutely.
Yes, we will.
And but let's just talk about how this wonderful deal came about. Red Lobster is no secret. It's nothing new to anybody in this country. We have all eaten the lobster, the crabs,
the biscuits.
The biscuit. My God, Fatming, eh? The biscuits that taste so good. Me, I've been there. But how did this deal come about? How did this go from an idea that people can invest in and buy into to now a reality in a short time?
So we know the founders of Red Lobster, and they're going to talk about their own experience. But business is kind of, the business community here is a small, close-knit community. And the business community for a long time was talking about how do we get from most people could do business less than about 250,000 up to about 10 million. But there's that gap in the market of how do you bridge that gap from being an idea, when I say 250, think of a home. You could probably leverage your home. You probably get a bank to give you a loan for that. But how do you get beyond that into that next space?
Yeah.
And this has been a problem not just for millennials, but this is a problem for my parents' generation, my grandparents. It's been a problem since the beginning of independence, even before that. And so, like, for us, being able to work with a company like Red Lobster and able to get them in a position where they can tell their story to the market, and then of course we're really happy to see the market has responded so happily about it. But it's creating that structure that allows for companies like Pinnacle Food Brands, Red Lobster, to put their story out there and to get funding. And like I say, it's kind of an idea whose time has come, where people want to be a part of these things.
Absolutely, and now they have the wonderful opportunity to do so. Now, for the two people, just the two, somewhere in the southern Bahamas, who may not have grasped fully the idea of crowdfunding and fully understand it, and now understand that listen, you all, we have been talking about empowerment, access to wealth building. It's only for a certain few. No, you heard me. Nearly 1,000 Bahamians, just like you, just like me, now have a stake in what's about to take shape very shortly, Red Lobster here in the Bahamas. But explain the concept of crowdfunding and what it all means and truly how it empowers.
So equity crowdfunding is a new way of doing an old problem. So the old problem is, on one hand, you have businesses, entrepreneurs that have ideas and they see opportunity, but they need money. And then on the other hand, you have people, savers with money, excess capital, that are looking for a return on their investment. So how do you bring the two of them together? And how do you bring the two of them together in a regulated environment so that people know that there's some rules, some structure? And so that's kind of what we do. The difference is we're doing it in a 21st century way. So we're doing it over the internet, which means that you can really reach out. In the old way, you kind of had to go to certain financial houses. You had to be part of an old boys network to participate. And certainly as a business person. Well, now it's kind of, because it's the internet, you can go to anyone. And because we have a globalized financial system, that anyone doesn't necessarily have to be in the Bahamas. That could be.
And that is what's impressive as well. I want you to talk about the fact that here it is that Arawak X already, number one, has offices in Los Angeles, but Silicon Valley, yes, but also plans on expanding the brand, expanding to allow, as you said, people outside these borders also to come on board. Talk about the expansion and the idea to get that done and to start happening very soon.
So I am a young Bahamian with desires to do a regional company. I've always been interested in international business, and so it was only appropriate that the companies that list on Arawak X are also interested in international business, but we ourselves are interested in international business. So we're planning on going in our next phase throughout certainly the English-speaking Caribbean, because we have similar legal system, as well as Florida, probably in the Miami area, setting up an office there. We have that office in Silicon Valley. That's mainly for our relationship with technologists as well as with VCs and things like that. So we view ourselves as kind of a gateway to the Caribbean, because what the problem that's happening is the Caribbean is kind of viewed as kind of like a dark, and when I say dark, I mean like no information. It's kind of people don't know what to expect. There's so many people have had really terrible stories about investing in this region.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. A bad taste in their mouths.
A bad taste. And so what a regulated securities marketplace will do is it brings trust to that space, so that people know that whenever you're dealing with companies listed on Arawak X, you're dealing with legitimate players, legitimate people, and obviously nobody can say a business is going to work or not, but you can get rid of the illegitimate stuff. And so we do our due diligence to make sure that everyone that you see here is who they say they are and is going after the opportunity that they say they're going after. And that's
awesome. And what's also admirable and really impressive for the person who is still considering, by the way, is there still an opportunity available to invest in this Red Lobster?
Absolutely. So they've hit the minimum of 1.5. I think they're around 1.7 now.
1.7,
So there will be a Red Lobster in the Bahamas. They are going up to 2.7, so there's still time. for you to invest. But like I say, it is going to be here. So it's, I'm going to leave it at that.
And you all, for the wonderful thing, because I've been obviously preparing for this interview, hearing this great news myself, and so it really sort of is it's on you what your investment is, so it's not something that's set at a certain level that you must come in at. And so certainly it's a wonderful opportunity. I also want everyone to know this, that there are about 160 companies. This RWAC-X is obviously expanding.
It's actually closer to 200 now.
So about 200 companies that, so you guys are expanding this platform that are waiting to come on board that people can also have access to through investing.
Correct. That's correct. So we spent our time before doing this, before doing RWAC-X, me and my father, in management consulting, dealing with companies, getting them structured to take on equity partners, getting them structured to take on investors. And so we love companies, and we love the idea that companies can find financing, because we are not, and it's not just, when I say we, I mean the whole region is not in lack of ideas. It's been in lack of putting the structure around those ideas and bringing people to, bringing investors to, quality investors to put eyeballs on them. And so that's kind of what we're doing, bringing the two together.
Really awesome. Listen, again, congratulations. It really is a super opportunity. I do remember when, the idea was first presented and people had an interest, but whoa, from that moment to now, just look where it is.
Hey, it's not an idea. It's an ongoing
No,
concern.
it's a reality now.
Yeah.
It's stuff that's happening. Really awesome. Congratulations once again. Thank you for joining us on Beyond the Headlines to share it with everybody else.
Thank you, and go to rwacx.com. It takes 5 minutes to sign up. You still have time to invest.
Well, listen, when we come back, you are going to hear from the Red Lobster representative himself. Stay close. This is Beyond the Headlines.